Welcome back, my friends. Welcome back. Scotty the Trucker coming to you from right around the middle of Pennsylvania. I've got a load delivering in about 3.5 hours. I'm about an hour away at a rest stop here, so I'll be leaving pretty soon. But I wanted to do this little intro, followed by a full video with intro and all that. It's kind of funny, I guess. I just kind of noticed the other day. I was going through my pictures and videos, and I noticed I had a full video that I did soon after home time. Not long after the video that I last posted, which has been 2 or 3 weeks, I think, something like that. And I had totally forgotten that I had done it. I did a full video. I edited it. It was ready to go. And for whatever reason, I guess I didn't have time at the moment to upload it to YouTube. And I subsequently forgot about it. So this one is going to be very old, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like I said, it was first load or two after home time, because I do talk about it, which I don't want to repeat it too much, but because you're about to hear it anyway. But yeah, something weird happened with the last video that I did post. I edited it, did everything, put it up on YouTube, and then I watched it later, and all the pictures were gone that I put on it. So in this video, the second one that I forgot about, it wasn't the topic, but I went ahead and put the pictures on so you could see it from the last one. So what a mess. Gotta up my game, Scotty. Gotta up my game. My YouTube game is getting a little shabby, I think, these days. So anyway, for what it's worth, I just wanted to put this quick intro on. A lot's happened since the video you're about to see, and now I'll try to catch up, tell you a few stories of things that have happened. Nothing terrible, but some things have happened. So I'm going to cut it here and enjoy this very old video. Bye. Welcome back, my friends. Welcome back. Scotty the Trucker coming to you. And if you're looking, I don't know if I'm showing the video now or not, I'm almost in the street, in Chicago, South Chicago. Another street blindside alley dock. Although I will have to say, you know, anybody that's watched this for a while knows that these are my least favorite types of pickups or drop-offs, the ones that are kind of in the city, as opposed to, you know, outer beltway, you know, industrial areas. I'm not crazy about going through these little streets and things. But as these things go, and I actually have a video that I want to put out. I took some footage the last time. Was it Chicago? Yeah, I think it was last, or was it Philadelphia? Philadelphia, sorry. I was in Philadelphia and had the craziest dock ever, and I took a lot of video of it, intending to do a video, and I just never got around to doing the video. So I'm gonna maybe do that one next. We'll see. But this one is nothing like that. This one is difficult, but not horrible. Especially, for one, getting here wasn't too much trouble. Usually, again, I've been doing this a year, but I've been through Chicago many times just going through. I've delivered here probably about 5 times, and there's 2 interstates that kind of run north and west on each side of the city. When you come up the right side, GPS tends to be okay, which is what I did today. You go north up the left side, my GPS goes haywire. And any time I've gone up like that just sets the tone. It's difficult to find the place because I'm, you know, going back and forth with GPSs deciding to crap out on me. But this one was pretty easy. It was only a block or 2 off the interstate. So far, so good. I got here early enough. It's about 5:30 a.m. right now. Traffic is starting to pick up now, but when I got here, there was nobody. So I took that opportunity. Rather than, there's parking right here on the road, which I did first. I went ahead and decided if I'm going to do a blind side from the street, I'm going to take this opportunity while there's no traffic. And so I went ahead and took a gamble and went ahead and docked at their one door. It's a little tiny place. I assumed right that I'm probably their only truck, at least this morning, if not all day. So took that gamble, did it. It paid off finally. Nobody was here until just a few minutes ago, and the guy pulled up beside me. Then I told him, he said, I hope this was okay. I just there was no traffic. I figured I'd go ahead and make things easy on all of us and get docked, you know, before anybody showed up. And he said, no, you're good. So here I am. I am literally into the lane, but I'm that close from being an obstruction. But this is the dock, so I guess they do this all the time. One thing I noticed, a little cleanup on aisle 10. The last video, I don't know what happened. My last video talking about home time, the video that I posted had my initial, referral code thing, and later on I had, I think I had fixed my math on how old my house was. I put 153 years. But I had that thing riddled with picture-in-picture slideshow and movies and whatnot, and none of those made it to the final product. I honestly don't. I'm sure it was my error, but I don't know really what happened there. It was sorry, there was a biker coming around the corner here. I thought he wanted to talk to me. He may still. But yeah, I honestly don't know what happened, but they didn't make it to the final product. So I'm gonna, as I'm talking, I'll just put him in the corner on this one. He's coming. I guess he's walking the bike around the corner here. I guess he doesn't need me. I think he's a worker here, but I thought he wanted to talk to me. What was I saying? Yeah, I'll just, if I haven't already, I'll just be running through. I think I certainly talked about the chores. I talked about spray washing the front brick wall, power washing, and getting the paint off of my shed. Excuse me. I was talking about a lot of the chores that I had to do during this home time. I think I also talked about my birthday present. I got a big freezer for the truck, so I'll put those pictures here. But the topic of today, it finally happened after 13 months, and he's coming back. I don't know if he wants to chat or not. Nope. Yeah, after 13 months, something that I had heard happened all the time in trucking happened. Now, going back, gosh, almost 2 years now, if I go back to when I was just doing a lot of YouTube viewing and stuff like that, for trying to decide whether I wanted to come trucking. And I heard lots of YouTubers talking, one of the running themes was how rude shippers and receivers were, and I guess it depends on your definition of rude. Now, I've come across many that are indifferent, I will say, or maybe robotic, just very matter of fact. Here's the procedure, give me your paperwork, what's your phone number, what's your name, go sit in your truck. Not a lot of banter. I get a lot of those. I don't consider that rude. Now, it's certainly not friendly, but it's not rude. And I would say the vast majority that I come across are friendly, and there's a little back and forth that's pleasant. Now, I also am a big believer in that you get what you give, and I tend to, I always, if I'm approaching somebody at a shipper receiver, I start with a good morning. I hope your day's going well, how you doing, and more often than not, whatever mood they might have been in before, they click to match your energy, I guess, so more often than not, it's usually very pleasant. I enjoy my conversations with guard shack people and, the office and things like that. I've never, until, 2 days ago, I think it was, never had someone that I would actually put into the rude category. And this person did not disappoint. Oh my gosh, it was beyond rude, and I'm going to take you through that. This was, and I didn't tell you, I usually just kind of gloss over it. Places I've been since the last video. Let's see, I think I went south to Georgia, north to South Carolina, from South Carolina to here. I think that's right. This was my Georgia drop-off. I'm not going to say the place, but anyway, you pull in. This is kind of a side note. This was a very tight space dock. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I may talk a little bit about that. I didn't have a whole lot of struggle, so there's not much to talk about. But anyway, I pull up. This is one of those places that's kind of tight, so they only let a few trucks. We park on the street, and there's actually a policeman out front that is kind of a gatekeeper, lets one or two trucks in at a time when they have the room for them. get in another line, and you wait, and you get up to the guard shack. And the guard shack is a tiny little thing, smaller than 10 by 10, very small, just enough for a desk and a chair. And I went up, and I had 3 interactions. This is the only person I interacted with the whole time. You give this person your paperwork, and on the way out, you turn in an envelope that they gave you. Nobody else talked to me. There's no office or anything like that. So I had 3 interactions with this woman. None of them great, but they got progressively worse. First interaction was kind of what I was talking about earlier, just very robotic, matter of fact. Just paperwork. She didn't even really turn around. She was faced. If I'm facing the front door, she was facing to the to my right, not facing me. And she just kind of reached over, put her hand back here, and said, "Paperwork." She handed me a piece of paper, said, "Fill out that to the best of your ability." I did. I asked a question about it, like, "Do I need to?" And she said, "Just fill it out to the best of your ability, sir." Like that, kind of short. So I did, and she said, "Okay, just wait in your truck until we have room for you." And so I turned to go, and she was following me out, actually, I guess to have a cigarette break. And coming down the 1 or 2 little steps from the guard door, she was behind me. I heard her go, "Ow, ow, ooh, ouch." And I turned and said, "Oh, you hurt? Are you in pain?" She's like, "No, I don't even remember what ailment," but she was talking about being in pain. And I always keep trying to have a nice chat. So I said, "I've got ibuprofen right on my front passenger seat. It's always very handy. I keep it very close at hand." But she said, no, I'm good. I don't remember what, but she softened a little bit. We actually had a bit of a conversation. Again, not what I would call friendly, but she softened a little bit since I offered her, some pain medicine. So, but anyway, I got in the truck, went, docked. Again, this really isn't about the docking, but I will say that, I talk about my backing ability and my struggles in the past. And if there is a scenario that continues to kind of hit me a little bit with some struggle, it's this kind of scenario. It's the one where just not a lot of room in the front to bring the trailer around behind it to chase it. I've always had kind of a little bit of a tendency to get myself kind of jammed up against that wall. This time, there was only room for really 2 options. There's the little short kind of 45, not the big S-turn, but the little tiny alley dock setup, or a 90-degree back. Now, I've only done the 90-degree back one time. There was only one other time that I even attempted that. So I went with the little short S-turn, and very quickly was struggling a bit. And I got a lot of activity around here. To the point where, I did enough pull-ups that I kind of lost my setup a bit. So in months past, that's kind of panic time. And and you get worse and worse and that kind of thing. And this time just breathed, and I just backed way up and did a new setup. But this time I decided to do it like a 90-degree. And thankfully it went right in. So not a whole lot to really talk about there, other than a bit of a victory. In that this is the remaining scenario that still sometimes gives me a little trouble. I'm still kind of nailing that down when there's just a really tight back. So anyway, the second time, I did my back and I got unloaded, and this was those of you that drive will know what I'm talking about, a capstone location, which is where they have the electronic bill pay for lumper fee. And usually, those of you who don't know, it's usually a series of 3 or 4 text messages. The first one always says, people have started unloading your truck. You will get another message with a link to payment and that kind of thing. And I got that one. I got the second one, which is just they asking you to do a survey on the location. And then that was it. I never got the link to pay. And of course the final one that tells you to just sit in your truck, the payment confirmation. I only got those first 2, and then I got a call from the guard shack lady, And it was obvious this was a memorized phrase, speech, whatever that she gives at this point. She said, "Sir, you can leave your parking," something to this effect. "Sir, you can leave your parking space, come around to the guard shack and drop off your envelope." No, I'm sorry. "You can pull away from your spot, get your paperwork out of the back of the trailer, and pull around and drop off the envelope here at the guard shack." And I proceeded to say, "Well, I just wanted to let you know I got the first message on the capstone, but I'd never got the payment one." And she cut me off and just said the same thing again. "Sir, you may leave," and it was a little louder, a little more short with me. "Sir, you may pull away from the dock, get your paperwork out of the back, and bring your envelope around to the guard shack." So I was like, fine, like, not gonna twist my elbow to skip a lumper fee. I don't, to this day, I don't know if I was supposed to pay, or if maybe that one, they don't charge Prime, and they send it back. So I don't know, don't care. I did my part. I told him that I had not finished the capstone. So anyway, I did what she said, grabbed my paperwork from the back, drove around to the guard shack. Now, here's where it got good. This time, the door was closed at the guard shack, so I walk up, and there's a lot of noise going around. There's trucks going in front of me and back of me, and just noise. I saw that she, through a little window, I could see just the corner of her shoulder to say she's at her desk. So I knocked. And again, there's, it's kind of noisy outside. I heard nothing. I did not hear her come in, whatever. So I was just about to knock again, and I heard her literally scream. I'm not going to do that here because I got people walking around that will think I'm crazy. But she belted out as loud as she could, "Come in," like that. Long in. I am not exaggerating at all. It was very loud. It was as loud as you could yell. And by the time, before she even finished the word "in," I went ahead and opened the door. I was like, good grief. I was like, geez, I didn't hear anything. So she did not acknowledge. Again, she just put her arm, she didn't look at me. She put her arm back, said, "Envelope, please." And so I handed the envelope, and she looked at the paperwork and handed that back, and that was it. But man, I was like, I could not think of a more rude interaction. Just, and those of you that do this know, you don't just walk into a guard shack. Most of them don't want you to step foot in there, and you certainly don't open the door without being invited. So to be yelled at just because I didn't hear her say "come in," man. So anyway, that was my rude receiver, my first one, really, one that I would really put into the rude category. So anyway, that's that. I'm gonna cut this actually fairly short for me. Nope, hang on one second. Oh,
yeah, your paperwork to...
I already turned it in. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, cut it there. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday, I believe it is, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.